As a member of the Bank of Jamaica's legal team, Mrs. McCain is going to come and she's going to be giving us the welcome and opening remarks. Please put your hands together for Ms. McCain. Please, clap her, please. A big round of applause. Here, shake your pom-poms. Thank you so much. But first, before Ms. McCain comes, we're going to be asking
Mrs. Angela Bromberg, who has come on to this event with us with her whole heart. So we're very happy that she's here to open these proceedings for us. We also have the pleasure of having Mr. Maureen Seymour, who is the Executive Director of the Kingston Restoration Corporation. We also have representatives of the Bank of Jamaica. Mrs. Elise Dewey is here with us. And we have a lot of distinguished persons, and we're very happy to have everyone here. I'd just like to say how beautiful the marching band looks. The ladies are gorgeous. They look like they're in a beauty contest or something like that. It's really fabulous. And the marching band music was really nice. I noticed you were doing a sort of popular song rendition thing with popular music, which I like. So I was listening very keenly to that. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out to JDIC's Financial Markets Fair. The grounds are beautiful. All the banks are here, all the financial investment houses are here, insurance companies are here. Everyone is here to give you information. You don't have to be afraid to ask, you don't have to buy, but you do need to get information. There are lots of other agencies here. We have a lot of educational agencies, other educational agencies here, and it's going to be a wonderful day. The grounds are really gorgeous, beautiful. I'm going to just now ask the mayor to open these proceedings for us. Thank you, Mayor Bromberg.
Thank you very much. Since the welcome has been done in that sense and all the protocol has been observed, although they tell me it is incorrect to say that, so I'll just say ladies and gentlemen, which is how you deal with that. I'm extremely pleased to be asked to open the proceedings this morning. I believe that this is a very worthwhile activity. Certainly anything that seeks to make our people more empowered to take charge of their own affairs is something that we support. In terms of just the financial literacy, making us more resilient, and certainly based on some activities that would have happened earlier this week at the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation, you understand that it's not just about the financial literacy, it is also about how you keep your money safe, and it's about how you take care of yourself with your money. And since obviously some bigger corporations need that lesson, I am sure that everybody here would do with a good reminder. And so I believe, God is good. He works out these things in some unforeseen ways to teach us these lessons or just to remind us of this. So I am very pleased to be here opening these proceedings and wanting to really congratulate all of the stakeholders who have come on board and who are part of this. Every time we have something like this in the park, I just feel, a little kind of rush. Because those of us who are down here, we know the beauty and we know the potential of St. William Grand Park. But there are so many persons who just pass by and have no idea what lies within. And so an opportunity to get them inside, for them to listen to some good music, or to just under a tree enjoy some cool breeze before they go to the next booth. Yes, to learn a little bit more about what's happening in the financial markets and so on, I think is important. And in the heat of the sun, I don't want to stay too long. I just want to say, I want to declare the proceedings open and to invite Jamaicans to come on down and have some discussion, talk a little about whatever questions you have, whatever idea you have, come share it too. Because out of this, I'm hoping that individual lives will be touched and will be changed, and people will be able to be a little bit more savvy in what they're doing financially, especially these times. So once again, congratulations, and let's go.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Please give her a round of applause, please, for our Mayor, giving us her stamp of approval on today's proceedings. Now, for the next hour and a half, we're going to be hearing from a number of presenters. They're going to be giving us some information, some well-needed information on how it is that we're going to be managing our monies and also protecting it as well. Just before we do so, I'm going to be asking persons, if you are interested in a tour of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, you are required to assemble at 11:30 at the information desk for departure, and the bus is going to meet you there at the North Gate. That is, persons who are interested in a tour of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, please assemble at the tour and information desk at 11:30 for departure at 11:45. All right? We have with the Bank of Jamaica. Now, over 13 years with the Central Bank, Mr. Salmon has been involved in and led several on-site reviews of deposit-taking entities and has had direct oversight responsibilities for several of the larger financial institutions in the sector. Now, over these 13 years, Mr. Salmon has was promoted rather, to assistant director, then director, talk about going up in the chains and ranks, and now functions as the methods and quality review department in that department, where he is integrally involved in the formulation of policy guidance for his fellow regulators and the entities is supervised by the Bank of Jamaica. Now, he is a member of the Association of Certified Chartered Accountants, ACCA, and holds a MSc and a BSc degrees in accounting from the University of West Indies. Talk about a man that knows his numbers. Mr. Richard Salmon, he's the Director of Methods and Quality Review Department of the Bank of Jamaica. Please make him welcome, as he's about to tell us all about money here with the Money Word, Bank of Jamaica. So he knows a little thing or two about numbers and money. Please make him welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for him.
That's good. Good morning. Okay. On behalf of the Bank of Jamaica, as I was saying, on behalf of the Bank of Jamaica, I want to extend our gratitude to the JDIC for putting on this symposium and allowing us to be a participant in this. Promoting financial inclusion through public education awareness is quite important, and as our part in this symposium, we want to advise as our role in regulating deposit-taking institutions. Okay. The structure of the presentation, we're looking at the structure of the financial sector. We're going to look at who the BOJ regulates, why we regulate these entities. One look at what we regulate and how we go about the business of regulation. Okay. Right. The financial sector is regulated by both the BOJ and the FSC. Right. BOJ, as I said earlier, we regulate deposit-taking institutions and credit bureaus. We also look at money services and businesses, that is the cambios, remittance services. BOJ is responsible for that as well. FSC will look at all the non-deposit taking financial institutions. That's your insurance companies. That, for example, would be what FSC would look at. I don't know if you can see the picture there, but it's just basically the same thing that I was saying earlier, that we look at BOJ would regulate commercial banks, the merchant banks, the building societies, that's the deposit-taking institutions, the cambios and bureaus, the charge and remittance services. And also we are in the process of assuming full regulation for credit unions, and that process is ongoing and is expected to be concluded shortly. FSC, as I said earlier, looks at non-deposit taking institutions. That would be the security dealers, the insurance companies, private pension funds, mutual funds, unit trusts. That's FSC. Okay. Okay, we're moving on to To who, as I said earlier, we look at the commercial banks, we look at the merchant banks, trust companies, and our building societies. Okay, there are 7 commercial banks, as we all know: BNS, Citibank, First Caribbean, First Global Bank, NCB, RBC Royal Bank, and Sagicor Bank from the Pan-Caribbean. We also have two entities licensed under our Financial Institution Act, 2 merchant banks. We have JMB Merchant Bank, which was formerly Capital and Credit Merchant Bank, and we have MF&G Trust and Finance. For building societies, we all know them. We have 4 of them. We have Jamaica National, Victoria Mutual Building Society, and Scotia Jamaica Building Society, and First Caribbean Building Society. So the issue is, why do we supervise these entities? Well, we want to promote safety and soundness of the financial institutions, and we want to generate confidence and integrity in the banking system. It basically, what we want everybody to know: when you bank, when you put your money with these institutions, that they are safe, that they are sound, that they are well run, right? And we want to, and if persons know that these institutions are well run and well governed, then you'll have confidence in wanting to bank with them and wanting to place your money with them. And a well run and strong financial institution as well will also encourage lending and persons being able to borrow, and that's one of the things that we want to see happen with our financial system. Okay. What do we supervise? Well, the prime thing about BOJ, we don't manage the banks as some persons believe that we do. What we do is that we assess risk. We look at the risk that these institutions undertake. We want to ensure that that they have the right adequate resources to manage the risks that they're undertaking, that they're fully aware of these risks, and that they're managing them efficiently and appropriately. Right? We want to know that the persons who are in charge of these institutions are persons of high degree of skill, and also in terms of their integrity, right? You want persons of high integrity and high skill to be running these institutions. And so what's one of the things that we would look at is the kind of persons that we do. We have fit and proper procedures that we go through to ensure that persons who are coming into the sector to serve the public in this manner, that they are persons of the highest integrity and have the skill to undertake the tasks that they are required to do. Okay. How we supervise? Okay, well, we have several things that we do. We assess compliance with laws and regulations. We have various laws that set out the basic framework of how banks, building societies, credit unions, how all of them must operate. We have the laws, and we go and we check to ensure that they are in compliance with these laws and these regulations. We also provide guidance to these institutions through best practice standards. We issue standards to institutions, and we give them guidance as to how they can go about looking at key areas of their business, maybe example for capital and assets and things like that. We'll give them guidance as to things that they must have in place to best manage the institution's business. Okay, we also have meetings with, and we also have dialogue through correspondence with senior management and the board of these institutions regarding any significant issue with these institutions. And as I said before, we also deal with the whole fit and proper arrangements and ensuring that these persons of the highest quality. It's ongoing because persons come to organizations and persons leave, so it's something that's ongoing. Okay. Just as I mentioned earlier about legislation, that there are several legislation that guides how banks and all the details, how they're run, and basically that is the Bank of Jamaica Act, which gave birth to the bank and gives the powers that the bank has to undertake its job. The Banking Act, which basically sets out the legal framework for commercial banks. The Financial Institutions Act, which sets out the framework for merchant banks and trust companies. And the Building Societies Act and BOJ, Building Societies Regulation, sets out the framework for building societies. Okay, we have several subsidiary legislation that looks at several key aspects of our DTI's business. So we'll have, if you want to establish a branch, or you want to amalgamate or transfer, relicenses fees, or about capital adequacy, there are specific legislation that governs those aspects. We also have similar legislation for merchant banks, and for business societies we have for licensing. Okay, I mentioned before we have best practice standards what the BOJ has developed, and we have a list of those standards there. As I said, those standards are there to give additional guidance because you have the law which sets the general framework, but there are some details that these guidance will give them greater detail in terms of what needs to be in place to effectively run the institution in terms of these aspects of the institution's operations. So we have we give guidance for capital management, for credit risk management, foreign exchange, interest rate risk, internal controls, liquidity risk, real estate appraisal management, securities portfolio risk, several fit and proper as I mentioned before, and we give guidance notes also on the whole thing about money laundering and the counter of terrorist financing and corporate governance. So we try to give a whole slew of guidance on areas that they think they need more give guidance on, and from time to time we look and we may have to promulgate further guidance in areas to strengthen our banks and our financial institutions. Okay, as regulators, just to ensure that our licensees keep in line, we also have power to do something about it if one of our licensees should not toe the line. So one of the things that we have, we can require the board to give an undertaking. Basically what we would require the board to do is to commit to us formally that the issues that we have found, that they are going to deal with it, and we'd want to specify a time frame on that, and they would have to, we'd get regular reporting on that, and we would keep close tabs on that until those issues have been resolved. If it gets worse, we can issue directions, so no longer are we going to require them to tell us formally that they will do it. We will tell you that you need to do it, you need to fix it, and what you need to do to fix it. If things are worse, then we may have to step in and take temporary management of those institutions, so that depositors' funds and the whole system the damage to the system is minimized. And ultimately, things deteriorate, we can request that the minister. We can request the minister or recommend to the minister that he revoke the license of that institution. Okay, in terms of how we do, one of the ways that we supervise our institutions, part of the mechanism that we use is on-site examinations, right? And in that process involves several things, but it includes collection of data and information that will indicate the current financial condition of the institution. So we collect information, we verify the information that those institutions send in to us on a regular basis. All licensees have to send information to the Bank of Jamaica periodically, whether it be weekly, fortnightly, monthly, quarterly, annually. And one of the things that we do from time to time, we go in and we actually verify the information, ensure that what they're sending to us is accurate, something that is accurate information coming into us that is not, fictitious or any problems with it. So we check to ensure that what we're getting is solid information. Also, we look at the level of compliance with the laws and regulations that, as we said, one of the we go in and we actually see what they do, and we see whether or not they are complying with the laws, regulations, whether it be for credit or for any aspect of their business. We'll actually go in there and look for ourselves and see whether or not they are in full compliance with the laws, and if not, we would recommend action, as spoken earlier. Also, we also look at the whole thing about how they manage and control their risks, right? Because banking and it's all about taking risk. but it has to be done in a prudent manner. And we look at how they take those risks. Are they aware of all the risks involved in a particular course of action? Have they put all the safeguards in place? Are they aware of it? Do they have a plan B should something go wrong? We look into all of those things, and that's so in part of it would be on-site, some part of it would also be dialogue with management, letters. It's a conundrum of different things that we do to ensure that persons, depositors' money is kept safe. Okay, and again, we also look at the effectiveness of board and management oversight, because these are the people who are in charge of the institutions, and we want to know that they know what is happening within those institutions. They are on top of all the major issues, and they are taking effective decisions concerning the institution. So one of the things we check is that, are they fully aware of what is happening within the institution? Are they getting the right information? Are they making sound decisions? Are they moving in a prudent manner? Are they moving at all? They may know, but do they do something about it? All those things are things that we look at, and if we're not happy, then we take it to the next level. Okay. On site as well, a big part of it as well, we look at the whole issue of money laundering and combating financing of terrorism. The truth is that money laundering is a worldwide phenomenon, and it is very serious for our institutions to be listed as one that is being used for money laundering or the financing of terrorism. Well, think about 9/11, and so it's a real phenomenon in the Western Hemisphere. And the fact is that we can't allow our financial institutions to be tarnished in such a way. We're from a small country, especially, and it won't probably, for the international eyes, it may be even seen not just as an institution, but as a country as a whole. So it's important that we have robust framework against money laundering and terrorist financing. And so that's one of the things that we are on the banks about, and we ensure that they are in compliance with the laws and the guidance that we give extensive guidance in this area, and we check to see that they are complying with these guidelines, with this guidance that we give. Okay. Also with the on-site monitoring, that's where we go to the institution. We also do off-site. As I said, information comes in-house to us, and we also analyze that information. We look at it, we see trends, we see developments in that information, and based on that, we can have dialogue with institutions. Sometimes we may have to be writing to them about a certain course of action based on what we're seeing in these reports, and so that's one of the ways as well that we supervise institutions. But as I said, it's all things come together. It's not just one. We all look at that. We look at media reports. We look at all information from whatever source, and we pull it together to the whole big picture to ensure that the system runs prudently and efficiently. Another recent development in the whole landscape is the onset of credit bureaus. And the law was passed in 2010, and right now we have, I think, two credit bureaus have been licensed by the minister. And the whole credit bureaus are there to improve the whole credit assessment and issuing of credit. A bank may not know many persons, they may not have a history with the bank or borrowing or anything, and the bank, credit bureaus, those reports on those credit bureaus can give a basis for the bank to say this person pays a bill on time and regularly, to have a base on which they can lend, to have some confidence in issuing credit, and probably can get a better rate than the person who pays the bills on time, and can get a better rate than the person who doesn't. So it's a tool that can assist the banks and also as individuals to get to the whole advancement of credit and development of the credit market. I think I said it. Okay. So just to summarize, right? I said the financial sector is supervised by the BOJ and the FSC. The BOJ deals with deposit-taking institutions, and also the whole Cambian remittances falls under BOJ. Non-deposit institutions falls under the FSC. Right? We manage risk. We look at the risk. We don't manage the institutions. We look at the risk. And as I said, with supervision, we look at both on and off sites. We look at all the tools available to try to ensure that the banks comply with the legal framework and that the banks are run in the most efficient manner, and that indeed we have persons of the highest integrity and the skill running our institutions. And the whole thing about supervision is not just for FSC and BOJ, but the whole public at large. I mean, persons knowing of issues can send information into the BOJ for the BOJ to investigate, and as the BOJ is not going to be able to see everything, but persons who have information in the public have an issue, it comes to the BOJ and the BOJ responds. I can say that many persons may have a complaint with the institution, and as a courtesy we look into it and take it up with the institution. But sometimes those complaints may have supervisory implications, and so that is something that spawns further investigation and for along those lines. Not just a matter of the issue with the bank and the customer, but it spawns further issues of supervisory concern, and so we can have a better, more robust and more better run financial system. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Richard Salmon, sir. Speaking on the BOJ's role in regulating deposit-taking institutions. So now we know that when we put our monies in Scotiabank and NCBs and all the other banks and so forth, our money is now safe, and that they do ensure that these institutions. Brown Crooks has joined the Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation team in 2005, where she is currently the acting director, monitoring and risk assessment, with a responsibility for the department's key functions, which is the economic research and policy development, policyholder risk assessment, and membership administration. Now, tell us a little bit about the deposit insurance and you, or us.
Thank you, Debbie. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say welcome to the JDIC's 15-year anniversary premier event, the Financial Market Symposium and Fair. And my role today is to quickly summarize what you should know about deposit insurance. What should you know about deposit insurance? You should know what is deposit insurance, why is deposit insurance important, how it works, who pays for it, how you access it, and one of the things you should also know is what is not insured by JDIC. Deposit insurance is a system that protects depositors in the case that their bank or other insured financial institution fails or is unable to make payments on deposits. Simply put, deposit insurance is insurance of your deposits. In Jamaica, deposit insurance is governed by the Deposit Insurance Act 1998, which established the Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation, which we refer to as JDIC. The JDIC is a part of the wider financial system safety net. The financial system safety net comprises the Ministry of Finance, the Bank of Jamaica, which has responsibility for regulating the deposit-taking sector, which Mr. Salmon so ably described just now. The Financial Services, the JDIC, that protects deposits in the institutions that are regulated by the Bank of Jamaica. The Financial Services Commission, which has the role of regulating non-deposit-taking institutions, and the Jamaica Stock Exchange, which ensures that the stock market operates efficiently and at high standards. These institutions share information regarding the financial system for the protection of consumers of financial services with the broad aim of contributing to financial system stability. Deposit insurance is necessary as it protects the small depositors who are